Hello, this is Prince of Somnia, and welcome back to more Let's Play Xenoblade. Well, okay, there you go. We got the story memo to tell us what we were doing earlier. We rescued a boy named Juju, and he basically gave us directions to where his camp is. But before we move on, first off, I want to change the time because Gar playing night is not as good as Gar playing day. Or, you know, Gar playing rainstorm, apparently. But before we move on, I wanted to talk a little bit more about skills now that Shulk and Rhine have a little bit more going for them. I mentioned before how you learn skills. Basically, you get skill points for doing quests, killing enemies. Basically, most of the time when you get experience, you also end up getting SP. But what I didn't mention is what happens when you press the 1 button. You have this thing called skill links. What this basically does is that it allows you to share skills with some of your other party members. You can only do this for skills you have already unlocked, and you can only do them for skills for which you share the same shape. So, yeah. I guess we can't really do much for Rhines here, but we maybe we can do some for Shulk? Not really. This is one that affects a battle party. Yeah. Well, if I had skills to show off, we could link them here. Basically, linking a skill allows certain characters to use the skills from other characters. And the number of skills you can equip from another character's skill tree depends on how your affinity chart between those two characters are. So there's actually a gameplay benefit to working on your affinity chart for multiple characters at the same time. Now, another thing I wanted to mention, you see these cloud enemies? Yeah, there we go. Aqua Nebula, you see that radioactive looking symbol there? That means that the Aqua Nebulas will aggro on you if you use an ether attack anywhere nearby. So yet another way an enemy will respond to your presence in and out of combat. You don't really see a whole lot of ether aggroing enemies, but the ones that are there can actually deal quite a good bit of ether damage, and we don't really have a good way of mitigating that yet. So watch out for those. But anyway, if you remember, Juju directed us over in this general direction towards a monument of some sort, or a guidepost rather. So let's just head on over that way and admire the scenery. It would have looked a lot prettier if it wasn't pouring down rain, but yeah, you know, it happens sometimes. I guess we haven't seen a lot of weather in this game, since I don't think Colony 9 has a ton of weather. There's weather in this game, obviously, and that affects what types of enemies show up in certain areas. So you saw how those cloud enemies, the ether cloud enemies there, appeared because it was raining. Yeah, that's an example of it. Certain enemies will only appear during rain or other kinds of weather. I don't think the weather gets as crazy as it does in Xenoblade 2, but it's there. And Xenoblade 2 also has extenuating circumstances with regards to the weather in certain areas, so I guess it kind of does make sense. Yeah, I believe in Gar playing, in addition to it just raining like it is now, it can also thunderstorm, which will cause certain other types of enemies to appear too. And over here, we actually have a quest from Refugee. This is a challenge quest for actually a monster that's surprisingly topical. White Eduardo is a unique monster that appears only during a thunderstorm. So, yeah. If I recall correctly, the best way of manipulating weather to your whim is to just change time rapidly, I think. Either that or just skip between areas. But yeah, I probably won't be doing challenge quests on screen. Ooh, actually, something you may have noticed there that I guess I can take the opportunity to discuss now instead of later. The quests in this area are all timed quests, but you don't need to worry about them expiring just because you progress through the plot. It happens because of a certain event that's usually, or well, not usually, that is triggered by the player. But anyway, let's head on over to Juju's camp.
Juju! Where have you been? Juju! Don't tell me you were... I've told you 1,000 times. We're not ready to leave the camp yet.
But I thought...
Juju!
Sorry, Sharla.
That gear. You must be survivors from the Defense Force. Is Colony 6 okay? Did Gaddo make it?
Hold on. What are you talking about?
We've come from Colony 9.
Colony 9?
They saved me from some monsters. This is Ryan and Shulk.
Oh, so you're not from Colony 6. Thank you for helping Juju. I'm his sister, Sharla.
I told them they could rest here, with us.
Did you now? Well, all right. I suppose that's only fair.
Did something happen to Colony 6?
Actually, we're heading there ourselves.
Colony 6 has been... our home. It's been occupied by the Mekon.
No.
I'll tell you about it inside. Follow me.
Well, shoot. I mean, I guess the fact that it's a refugee camp did kind of spoil something horrible happening, but still, that's really damn horrible. Anyway, we could accept a couple more quests here, but, well, the vast majority of quests in the, refugee camp are actually named quests, and I want to hold off on those until we do a side questing episode. There's going to be one... Actually, it's probably going to be the next episode, to be honest, but yeah. Let's go and hear what happened to Colony 6 over here with Sharla. Our home, Colony 6, was attacked by the Mekon. Will you listen to what I have to say? Let's listen.
We had already fought off the Mekon a year ago. At the Battle of Sword Valley. It left us with a false sense of security. The Colony 6 Defense Force didn't even notice the approaching Mekon. By the time the air raid siren sounded, a swarm of Mekon had blackened the sky. They ate people and burned our buildings. Me and Juju dedicated ourselves to evacuating the children and elderly. I don't know what happened next.
It's just like what happened to Colony 9.
They attacked your colony as well.
Yes. It's good that you managed to evacuate so many.
We have Atharon, the Colonel, to thank for that. Him and Gaddo.
This Gaddo?
He would have been my husband by now, if not for all this. Cheer up, you two. We can't lose hope just yet. I'm certain Gaddo and the other soldiers are alive. They're still fighting. I can feel it.
You're on your way to Colony 6, right?
You bet. We're up for some revenge. I bet we can even get your colony back.
There you go, showing off again.
If anyone can do it, it's you two. Could you take me with you to the colony?
Juju, the people here need us. How many times do I have to tell you?
But you heard! The Mekon attacked Colony 9! That means a load of them have left Colony 6 already! It has to!
Even if that's true. No, especially if it's true. We cannot expose the camp to any more danger.
So, you don't care what happens to the people in the colony? How can you be so heartless? Are you that scared of the Mekon?
Oi, kid.
Ryan!
You ought to know how Charlotte feels. Watch your mouth and have some respect.
I'll go and make dinner.
Maybe I was too hard on him. Shulk?
Ryan, you really remind me of Gaddo when you get angry.
I do?
Gaddo's taken care of us ever since we were young. I always saw him as a big brother, really. But he was more of a father to Juju. He'd call him kid whenever he told him off, just like you did.
I don't think I'm ready to be someone's old man just yet. Wait, Shulk. Did it happen again?
Yeah.
You had another vision.
Oh no!
No! Juju! The buggy's gone! He's going to Colony 6 on his own.
Stupid kid!
We have to hurry. Something bad's gonna happen.
What did you see?
A deep valley. Everything's engulfed in flames. There's a black shadow. It kills Juju.
Is it the Mekon with the metal face?
Yeah,
Where does it happen? Is it near Colony 6?
I'm not sure. I think so.
Let's get after him, Shulk.
Hold on a second. What was all that about?
I know you won't believe this, but Shulk can see the future.
The future? That's not possible.
That's what I thought too. I still can't explain this, but that vision I had will come true unless we stop it.
So you're telling me Juju's in danger?
Believe it or don't believe it, that's your call. But I wouldn't be standing here if it weren't for Shulk's visions.
Juju. Okay. I can't say I believe you. But what have I got to lose?
I like the way you think.
Charlotte, you're...
What?
No, nothing.
Oh.
What are you doing? Let's go and find Juju.
When you talk like that, you sound just like Gaddo. That's how I know it's not worth arguing.
What am I, some kind of Gaddo substitute?
That thing killed Charlotte too. I saw it in the vision. But I can't stop her coming with us. I don't know how I can protect her. But I have to do it. I will change the future.
And now we get more party members with Sharla! Ooh boy. I see Sharla get a lot of hate for how she plays in the game. And, okay, to be fair, it is somewhat warranted. Yeah, Ether up. Definitely want Ether up on her. We can keep the round top. To be... not really. Yeah, we don't actually have anything much better for you. Round bottoms. I don't know why, but that just sounds funny to me in my head. But enough about that. Yeah, okay. The game's kind of explaining something I will mention a little bit later. Let's take a look at Sharla's arts. Now, Sharla is basically the primary healer of the party. She has access to Heal Bullet, which is, I think, a stronger version of Light Heal, essentially. Thunder Bullet, which is a 2-hit combo Ether attributed attack that deals bonus damage to flying enemies. Shield Bullet will prevent some damage from coming into an enemy. It's really good for hitting Ryan at the beginning of a fight. Cure Bullet removes debuffs from the target and grants immunity to debuffs for a short amount of time. Heal Blast does a large amount of healing to a single target. Tranquilizer is an ether attributed attack that also puts an enemy to sleep, and that's all we have for now, but she gets more arts later. So yeah, basically she's the healer and focuses on preventing debuffs from affecting you while also inflicting debuffs on the enemy, like with Tranquilizer. Or at least to a little bit of an effect. Now you might notice here, though, that every single one of her arts fills the talent gauge slightly, and you might be thinking, ooh, that's good, maybe the talent gauge is like some really awesome blast. I didn't mention this before, but Sharla has a gun for a weapon, or more specifically an ether rifle. So you might be expecting that her talent art is something pretty awesome, since all of her arts fill up the talent gauge a little bit. And you would be wrong. I love this game, but I have to recognize some of its flaws. Sharla's talent art is definitely one of its flaws. Her ether gun overheats as you go on through battle. The more you use arts, the more your ether gun heats, and when your talent gauge reaches its max, you'll be forced to stop moving and let your gun cool off before you can start doing anything ever again. I guess they did this to balance the fact that Sharla's raw healing output outstrips every other party member in the game, but still, that's very stupid and not very fun, if I have to be honest. It tends to make it so that Sharla is spending a good 10 to 30% of a battle doing absolutely nothing, so yeah. You could preemptively cool off your ether rifle. The less charge your talent art has, the shorter amount of time it takes for your ether rifle to cool off. But you do have to cool it off at some point, and if your talent gauge maxes out, the game will force you to cool off on that moment, and you'll probably end up being left vulnerable. It's kind of not a great thing that they did, but oh well. That being said, also, at this point in the game, she kind of heals for more than you would ever really need up until pretty late in the game, actually. So, yeah. There's also her shtick with dealing with status ailments, which is useful, but not that useful. What I mean by that, essentially, is that debuffs in this game are kind of weird in that a lot of the time they're actually not that terrible against you, but they're really, really damn good when you use them yourself. It's kind of the opposite of how most JRPGs actually work, is that debuffs are actually useful for you, but not so much for enemies. I mean, they're certainly kind of deadly now, but later on, they won't be too bad. Oh, I guess I haven't mentioned that they're Napon in this game, just like in the other, in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. They're pretty much the same, essentially. They look cute and snuggly, but in reality, they're shrewd motherfuckers. But anyway, let's get into some fights with Sharla, just so I can show her off before I end the episode. Because I want to show off her in action. Now, despite how bad her talent art is, and how she generally is, I guess you could say, too useful, or she does more than you ever really need for a good part of the game, I do actually appreciate Sharla for certain, like, really bad emergency situations. Because there are moments in this game where, you might actually need this level of healing, just if you're getting into a point where you're starting to get hit really hard with just about everything. That sort of thing. Now you might notice the Aqua Nebula here isn't taking a whole lot of damage for our physical attacks. Nebulas like this, or really ether-based enemies, tend to not take that much damage from physical attacks. They also tend to be more than a little immune to physical defense reducing, so. But anyway, you see there, our rifle's starting to heat up a little bit. let's patch up Ryan a little bit more and dump the heat out of our rifle. You can't move when cooling off, by the way. I think I mentioned that before, but yeah, you're just stuck there. Another kind of issue with Charla comes from trying to do chain attacks with her. Unfortunately, she doesn't have any red arts on her arsenal, so there's not a whole lot you can do with her with regards to that. Maybe the Aqua Nebula wasn't the best enemy to test her out on, since it's actually taking us quite a bit of time to deal with it. Since all the ether damage we have is kind of concentrated in these two idiots. Alright, let's use our chain attack to patch up Ryan a little bit, since it is somewhat free. We can use a Talon Art like Monado Buster to continue the chain even though we don't have a red art, so let's do that. Hammer Beat. And yeah, we don't have any affinity, so we didn't get the bonus. That's okay. Okay, so I'm probably gonna have to dump my rifle again pretty soon. So let's just patch up Ryan and move on with our lives. Oh, yeah. We're about to get hit. Okay, so what I can do here is we can actually warn Shulk about the incoming attack and have him use his Monado Arts. So that way you can still protect your party even though you don't have Shulk at the lead of the party. So there you go.
Okay, let's get going.
Yeah, so, yeah, it's really nice. You can actually warn any party member of an incoming vision and have them react that way as well. I believe it fills Shulk's talent gauge automatically if you warn him, just so that you can use Monado's shield. I think that's how it works anyway. I'm not too sure about this one. This is something I think future me will just have to look up, but I do seem to recall that every time I don't have Shulk in the lead, that's what generally happens.
Charla, do you know which way Juju went?
There are quite a few ways to get there from here, but he's in a buggy, so I think he'll take Ragwell Bridge.
Ragwell Bridge?
It's not far. It's a really old bridge built around the time Colony 9 was founded.
Okay, let's make that our next stop.
Sounds like a plan. Charla, you stay back. Leave any monsters up to me and Shulk.
What? You think I can't pull my weight in battle? I've got field experience as a medic. If you get hurt, I can use ether to patch you up.
Nice. I'm always getting roughed up. You'll be a big help.
Come on. Who put this barrier in the way? Oh, now the front suspension's all twisted up. Looks like I'll have to walk it. They're all cowards. I'll show them all.
So yeah, that's what Charla was basically mentioning there. She's just talking about how she can heal the party. Another thing I don't think I mentioned about Charla is since she has a gun, she actually has a decent bit more range to her abilities and her auto attacks than most other characters in the game. Also, because of how her talent art works, she doesn't fill her talent gauge by auto attacking, unlike Shulk and Ryan, so keep that in mind. But anyway, in the next episode of Let's Play Xenoblade Chronicles, now that we have Charla in the party, we can kind of do a little bit of leveling off of side quests. I would like to gain a couple more levels here and there. You don't have to. I think you can do it at level 15. But I would rather be closer to level 20 than level 15 for this next part, since the upcoming boss is actually pretty tough, not gonna lie. It definitely catches new people off guard a lot, so I'm gonna take the time to do a little bit of side questing around. Probably both in Colony 9, since there are a few more side quests there, and then we'll do some of the main quests at the refugee camp, since they're timed, so I kind of want to get them out of the way first. We'll also be turning in a lot of the quests that had objectives in Tephra Cave that I couldn't complete because we had story progression in there. So, like Romantic Notions, I'll be completing that quest during in the next episode. Probably also will be doing the Dean's quest thing, so I'll handle that in the next episode, and then the episode after that we'll be chasing after Juju further into the Bionis leg. See you guys then!